Today, instead of my usual unboxing video, I'm doing a comparison between the Baby Omen, the Victus, and the Omen 16. Since the Victus is the budget version of the Omen 16, basically, I thought it would be interesting to see what sacrifices, aside from obvious performance ones, you're making in the lower tiered Victus lineup. The Omen 16 I reviewed, which is kind of a mid-level Omen 16, had 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 6600M, a Ryzen 5800H with a 1TB SSD. The Victus has an Intel i5 11400, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 256 gigabytes of SSD. Both laptops have dual channel RAM, with one big difference aside from the size is that the RAM in my Victus is 1x16, whereas the Omen had the better performing 1x8 RAM. I would expect this to vary depending on the region and what model of the Victus you would buy. I've talked to someone in China that has the 16 gigabyte RAM version of the Victus, and he said his is 1x8. And I think this is kind of forgivable since this is a budget laptop, and the first thing I would do anyways if this was mine is save up the money to upgrade it to 16 gigabytes of RAM. I paid $600 or about 55% more for my Omen 16 than the Victus. That's a similar percentage to the starting price difference between a Toyota Corolla and a Lexus IS. If you get a top tier Victus with similar hardware to an Intel version of the Omen 16 with the RTX 3060, it looks like the price difference in America anyways will be around $200. The Omen 16 should still perform better because of the higher power RTX 3060. Looking at the size and weight, the Victus is maybe just slightly thicker than the Omen 16 and about 2 centimeters longer lengthwise. The Victus only weighs about 90 grams more than the Omen 16, coming in at 2.4 kilograms, and if we add on its smaller 200-watt charger, at 3 kilograms, it's actually about 50 grams less than the Omen 16's combined weight. Both laptops have a similar port layout, with the Victus only missing the DisplayPort from the Omen 16. The USB-C on both of these is only DisplayPort and data transfer. The Omen 16 is supposed to have options with Thunderbolt 3, while I haven't seen that listed anywhere for the Victus. Aside from the color logos and keyboard on the exterior, the laptops look similar. On the bottom, the Omen has a larger grille, the section of its heat pipes exposed, and larger fan holes compared to the Victus. Looking at HP videos where they open it up, the Omen has an extra heat pipe that leads to the side radiator, but otherwise looks pretty similar. Plastic keyboard deck on the Victus has more flex than the Omen, but nothing that seemed too concerning to me. They can both be easily opened and closed with one hand. Screen flex is only slightly worse on the Victus, with the big difference being in the wobble. While they have the exact same bezel, they do have a different hinge design. For comparison, here's my budget Acer Nitro. A new test I guess I should implement is the one-handed post-screen open wobble. I think I would need a robot to do this perfectly every time with the same amount of pressure, but you get the idea. I don't know how much it'll affect the longevity, but I would definitely be careful with it. The Omen 16 will come with up to a 300 nit 165Hz 1440p screen. The cheaper screen option seen here is 144Hz 1080p 250 nits, which I believe is the same as the higher tier option available in the Victus, which will be 144Hz. My Victus does have the cheaper 60Hz screen. The one major physical difference between the two laptops is the keyboard. The Omen 16 lacks a number pad, but it's spacious and easily has been my favorite laptop keyboard I've used with a great tactile response. The Victus keyboard in comparison is very lackluster. There's no RGB option from what I've seen, and the trackpad is also considerably worse than the glass one on the Omen. It kind of has a very spongy feel to it. Surprisingly, for a budget laptop, it has the same 70 watt-hour battery. And spoiler alert for my full review, the battery life on the Victus lasted over 6 hours playing back YouTube videos, smoking every other gaming laptop I've tested. The speaker on the Omen 16 has a slightly richer sound, but the Victus is still above average for a gaming laptop. They both have the Omen Gaming Hub. The Gaming Hub on the Victus has a quiet mode, while interesting the current version on my Omen 16 doesn't. An even better feature that HP has added to their Intel gaming laptops is undervolting. I haven't tested it yet, but so far, even without it, the 5th gen Intel chip in this laptop runs very cool. For our one gaming benchmark on the Victus in this video, we'll take a look at Far Cry 5. Surprisingly, it outperforms the RTX 2060 in my Helios 300 from last year, but there is a year's difference of drivers between these two benchmarks. And finally, we'll take a look at 3D Mark. I don't find 3D Mark to correlate particularly well to actual game performance, but it seems to be Reddit's favorite for boasting, so here you go. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my full review of the Victus, where I'll benchmark more games and cover everything else in this laptop from head to toe, including its thermals. I do think the RAM in this laptop is holding it back a lot. While it'll be a lot of work, if I can hit 600 subscribers by August 15th, I'll also redo every benchmark and re-upload them with 16 gigabytes of RAM.